What are you thinking?
Oh man, I'm thinking a lot of things. You thank you for sharing. And you speak it in such an empowered voice, and I can hear the journey, the struggle, the suffering, and the victory. When you hear someone sing and they got that really awesome voice that you can tell they've been through stuff, like that's the kind of singing I like to hear. And your story is that it's got that painful rasp, but that victor's cry in it as well. And I can tell you've done the work, and I mean you've been through it. You said life happens. I'm like, that is life happens, which is flat tires and rain and stuff, but that is dang unnecessary trauma. There's trauma we expect in the military, deployment, maybe an accident with training. But that, no, no, we don't expect betrayal from one another. And
Mhm.
unfortunately it happens. And so, but you finding your voice, and that's powerful. But I'm also thinking, the whole victim blaming thing that goes on. People, when I say we, anyone who's been through something like that, or trauma in general, we usually blame ourselves because it's the quickest way to get to an answer. And answers feel like we have, give us a sense of control. So, with anything, male, female, civilian, military, it's like, okay, if I wouldn't have done this, then this wouldn't have happened. And so there's this vicious cycle going on here. Um, and I just think it's so powerful that you were in the role that you were in, advocating, speaking up, talking about things. Then it happens to you, and you experience the same kind of victim blaming. And then people were doing it to you too. It's like, this is like textbook the way this happens. Blaming self, being blamed, judgment, and enough is enough. Like, the more we speak up and share truth, the less people will suffer in isolation for as long as you did or other people are. So
And can I make one point to that? I also think it's a cultural change that needs to come about. Now, the military is making a lot of changes, which I'm so proud of. I've spoke to other survivors who are saying these changes are amazing. Let's keep the ball rolling. But I think overall, not just in the military, there needs to be a cultural change. How many
Mhm.
times have you heard of someone getting robbed, right? I come to you say, oh my gosh, I was just robbed. What's the first thing you ask me? Are you okay? What happened? What did they take, right? That would be your normal response. But when I go up to someone and say, I was just raped, they'll say, well, what were you wearing? Were you drinking? Why did you walk down the dark alley by yourself? Why were you
Oh,
by yourself? Why did
mm.
you answer? Why? And but people don't understand when they ask those questions, that is victim blaming. You are putting the onus all on the woman. I shouldn't have to. If I want to walk down a dark alley, I should be able to do that. If I want to wear a short dress, I should be able to do that. If I want to go out and have a glass of wine, I should be able to do that. But people instantly, their minds are programmed to start asking questions as soon as someone says they're assaulted. But if you say my house started on fire, they don't go, well, why'd you leave the stove on at night? They go,
Yeah.
oh, I'll help you. Right. Or if you say my house got broken into, they don't say, well, why didn't you put a bulletproof padded door on the front of your house so they couldn't break in? It's
Oh.
like, oh, that's horrible. Are you okay? Did they steal your stuff? Do you need help? So I think what needs to be done is we need to change people's mindsets when they hear sexual assault. It is not, do not instantly go, well, what did you do? Why didn't you scream? Why didn't you call the police? Why didn't you punch them? Like, no, because you're basically putting all the onus on me. How about why were they attacking me when I'm walking down a dark alley? Why did they decide that they thought it was okay to abuse, beat me up, and then force themselves on me? You're asking the wrong person the wrong questions. You need to be asking the people that did the assaulting, not the survivor of the assault. And until we change that mindset, we're going to keep hitting a wall. We're going to think we're making progress, but we aren't. And I think that is one of the most important things that people need to start doing, is change that cultural mindset that it's not the victim's fault. But then people like to make that argument, well, women like to lie about those things. That's the number one argument I hear all the time. And this is what I say to that. You know what? I will be the first to believe someone. I will believe them before I believe they're lying, because you would want that same courtesy in any situation, whether it's an assault or anything else. So why treat this any differently? Because